Good afternoon, all. Uh, we'll wait for 2 more minutes. Let the others also join. Then we shall just continue our. Somebody has raised their hand. Why? They just sent a message. If you have anything to discuss, you can just raise your hand once again. I didn't notice that who has raised the hand. Yeah, 105. You can type your problem in the Google chat box, man. Two participants has raised their hand. I just asked a simple question. Why you have raised your hand? I don't know exactly. If you can type the message for okay, we'll start. The last class where we left out is we left out with the last topic with respect to your performance that is present in the network. How will you measure the performance? One is based on the bandwidth. The second one was with respect to the throughput that they are having it. The last one is latency. Latency is always called as delay. Delay in the sense, if I just ask all of you to just turn on the video as well as audio, then lot of other noises, other things will be just visible as well as will be heard rather than my voice. My voice will be suppressed totally. This is based on your delay or latency. That if the delay or latency is there, then throughput will be coming low. So with respect to that, bandwidth, even if it is very much higher in the sense 10 Mbps, if you are having the bandwidth means 10 MB of data can be passed in 1 second means, then to that particular extent, it will be also very much low, will be just considering. So with respect to that, so the last part that is your latency. So it will be defined with respect to your propagation time. Propagation time is nothing but starting from who will be delivering the things, right? So who will be starting that particular thing. So that is the propagation time. The next one is transmission time. In the particular transmission medium, there should be some particular amount of time where the data can be transmitted from one end to another. That one. Next one is queuing time. Queuing time, why it is required? Okay, I have sent you a request saying that Or simple thing, I'll just give you a call, anybody, I'll be just, or you are calling your very close friend. So what is the thing that you will be observing over that? Once you just dial the number, or just look into the contact, depending on that particular contact, you search the name, and with the name, whatever the number is there with respect to that, whatever the number has been saved, that number you'll be just clicking on. So it will be just dialing, right? So for the dialing, one particular tone will be there. After dial tone, if the person is not connected with respect to your particular call, it will be still in the busy tone, right? So that busy tone is nothing but queuing time. He may be busy, or he may be not active at that particular point of time, or something else may happen. So due to that, queuing time is very important. This will also cause the delay. Followed by the next one is processing delay. Processing at the end. Okay, receiver is correct. Receiver, you will be sending that. So the receiver also receives the particular call, attends your call. After attending the call, once you say hello, the whole message, if it is scrambled, first H will be received at the particular receiver end. Next E, next L, next L, next O. This is processing time. So this particular time, if it is received, means then he'll be not arranging it properly to just recognize what you are saying it. So based on that, certain delay will be happening. So these are all the uh, four different parts that we have with respect to your latency. If somebody is facing some problem, just type the message in the chat box. For what reason you are raising your hand, I don't know. Why you need to raise your hand, I don't know exactly. I didn't ask you any question. Is there any problem? Is it audible to all of you? Hello? Is it audible? Then why you people are raising your hand, I don't know exactly. See, if you raise your hand, there is some problem at your end. So you just want to address something. So that's why I need to give the privilege to you. That is why raise hand or lower your hand is available. It is not to give your attendance. Okay, we'll just continue. The next one is propagation time. How it will be just calculated? It will be calculated based on the distance that we have, how much distance that it need to travel, the particular message. The next one is speed. How fast you need to transfer that particular message. Okay, so based on this, in which particular direction, how fast it need to pass through that particular source. That is what it will be just calculating it. If you find the distance, if you have the distance, propagation speed is there, then you can just calculate the propagation time. Next one is transmission time. First bit that has been received in the transmission medium and last bit that has been received in the transmission medium. During that particular duration, that is nothing but your transmission time. It will be calculated by message size, whole message, how much amount of message that you want to transmit it, 8-bit length or 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, whatever it may be. So depending on that particular message size, depending on the transmission medium, how much it can hold the data, how much it can transmit the data. So based on that, your transmission time will be calculated. Queuing time, it is the time needed for each intermediate or end device to hold the message before it can be processed. That's what. So before reaching to your destination to whom you have called in the base station, it will be trying. If that particular person is available, is active, then it will transfer the call. Otherwise, it will be giving you a busy tone saying that somebody is not listening to you right now. Once he gets active, once he will be online, so we'll just get back to you. Understanding it? So that is what nothing but your queuing time is all about. So top performance metric for networking routers. Why? Because all the time, all the members will not be active. So if you want to transmit any particular data, or if you want to have a transaction with the other particular system, the other particular system should also be in the active mode. If it is not in the active mode, or if it is in the processing mode, suppose somebody else has already requested, so that's why somebody is already in the call, so you are trying to reach that particular person, then also there will be a busy tone. If that particular person is not available, then also there will be some other particular tone. So all these nothing but your queuing tone, queuing time. So with respect to your routers, top performance metric is nothing but your queuing time. Based on the queuing time, we'll measure how fast the particular network can be transmitted. So lower the queuing time, highest is the performance. That's what it will be saying it. Understanding it? So with respect to the intermediate node, so one particular problem has been listed here. What are the propagation time and the transmission time for a 5 megabyte message? That is one image. Is that image is of size 5 megabyte length? Okay. If the bandwidth of the network is 1 mbps, assume that the distance between the sender and the receiver is 12,000 kilometer, and that light travels at the speed of, this is the propagation speed, so 2.4 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Understanding it? So this is how you can calculate, or you will be having with respect to your one particular problem statement has been listed. Okay, you need to calculate the propagation time. What is the propagation time? How to calculate it? It is the distance divided by the propagation speed, right? So distance is 12,000 kilometer divided by 2.4 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. So that is nothing but your propagation time. Milliseconds it will be addressed. Whereas your transmission time, it depends on your size of the data. Size of the data is 5 megabyte, and bandwidth sizes network can hold or can transmit at a time in 1 second 1 MB of data. So it will be 5 into 10 to the power of 6 into, it's a byte length. So you need to transmit it in the bit format. So because you are expressing the network bandwidth in bit, so that's why you need to convert this. So into 8. So 5 into 10 to the power of 6 into 8 divided by 1 into 10 to the power of 6. 10 to the power of 6, 10 to the power of 6 get cancels. 8 4 8 5 is 40 seconds. So this is how you will be calculating the transmission time and the propagation time. So that's all with respect to this particular first module. First module is ended. So I'll just share you a new particular module. That is the second module. We'll start the second module. From today, we are starting the second module. Your second module, what it says is, it will be based on your physical layer. In the physical layer, lot of changes, lot of things will be happening, right? So we have two types of data, two types of signals. One is digital, another one is analog. Digital data as well as digital signal, analog data as well as analog signal. So this is how the four different combinations will be working. I can either transmit the digital data in terms of analog signal, and I can transmit through the transmission medium, or I can transmit the digital data in terms of digital signal itself, and I can transmit the data. Or else from the analog, I'll be taking the input, that is the voice signal or something like that example if I give you. So from that, what I'll do, I'll transmit it in the digital wave format or the signal format. So this particular thing we need to know. So this combination is nothing but your next coming second module. In the second module, we'll be just doing all these particular techniques. First one is digital to digital. That is what we'll be just using it. So we have a digital data at the one particular end called as sender. Your transmission medium can also understand this particular digital signals. So from digital data to digital signal, how it can be converted, how I can just give it. That is the coding technique that we need to just adopt it. So we'll just check it out with respect to the second module. In that, the first one is digital transmission. Here, digital transmission, that's what it says. So digital to digital conversion is nothing but you have the digital data. From the digital data, you need to convert to a digital signal. And at the receiver end, it will be a reverse conversation. That is, you have the digital signal coming at the coming from the transmission medium. So at the receiver, you need to convert it back to the digital data. So this is digital to digital conversion is all about. In this, we have three techniques to undergo. One is called as line coding. Second one is called as block coding. The third one is called as scrambling. According to our syllabus, we are talking more about this particular line coding technique rather than going for block coding or scrambling. If we understand this, then it will be easy for us to undergo with respect to your block coding and scrambling. So, and it is not necessary that always we require block coding and scrambling, but line coding is the important technique that we need to know once we are converting digital data to digital signals. So line coding is always needed. Block coding and scrambling may or may not be needed. So we are seeing several techniques with respect to your line coding technique, and we'll just check it out. Okay. So here the line coding and decoding, one example has been given. Sender digital data 0101 etc 101. This is what the bit that I need to transmit it. 0 will always be having at the lowest amplitude, and 1 will be always having the highest amplitude. This is what the rule that we will be following. Depending on that, the signal has been generated. This digital signal is nothing but your encoding part. This will be transmitted. This will be given in the transmission medium. The link is nothing but your transmission medium. The encoder that we are using is one line coding technique. Understanding it, how it is done, we'll just see it. So there are a lot of line coding techniques that will be that are available. So we'll see one by one later. So at the receiver end, there should be a decoder. The signal is coming from the signal. You need to convert it back to the digital data. This is what you will be calling as line coding and decoding technique. So before going to your line coding technique, we need to understand one more particular terminology called as signal element as well as data element. What is signal element? What is data element? I always say, I have always given you an idea. Once you have a particular horizontal line, that horizontal line is nothing but the signal element, we'll call it. Understanding it? So one signal element can have one data element to be transmitted. One data element is nothing but one bit of data that I am transmitting, 0 or 1. That 0 or 1, how you are interpreting, depending on that, it will be just giving you the answer. So this signal, it says 1 is having the lowest amplitude, 0 is having the highest amplitude. It may be. It is all our assumption. This assumption, whatever we are assuming, the same thing should be taken care at the decoder part also. Decoder should also know about it. Somebody may say 1 is always at the highest amplitude, 0 at the lowest amplitude. Yes, agree, no problem. But the same thing should be agreed by the other parties also. Otherwise, there will be a confusion. Sir, you only told that 1 will be in the previous example. See, just check out here. 0 is at the lowest amplitude. 1 is at the highest amplitude. This is also correct. I'm not saying this is wrong. This particular technique, whatever you're using, if it is understood by your encoder and the decoder, then it works fine. But your encoder assumes that 0 is always at the lowest end or lowest amplitude, and 1 is at the highest amplitude. So signal element is nothing but the wherever the horizontal lines are there. Vertical lines are not considered anywhere. Only this particular horizontal line is very important for us. These are all the signal elements that I'm talking about. For one signal element, one data bit that you are transmitting means, then we call that particular thing as, we'll be just saying it as R is equal to 1. Okay. So this is one assumption. Depending on the same particular thing, you can have Depending on this particular signal element versus the data element, your one particular combination or one constant member will be just saying it. That is called as R. R will be equal to 1 because one signal element to one particular data element. That's what it means. And the next one is, for one data element, you are having two horizontal lines in the same particular bit to transmit. So this is nothing but for one particular data element, that is n, one data bit. So you need to have how many signals? That is two signals you require. R becomes 1 by 2. Similarly, this other particular example is there. If you look into this particular diagram, 2 bits at a time you're transmitting it. In these 2 bits, your particular signal element is also one element. So R becomes 2 divided by 1. So 2 divided by 1 is 2 itself. Similarly, the next one is 4 data elements you have. In order to represent this, this is 1101. The whole particular bit is 4 data elements. So for this, 3 signals you require to have to represent it. So 4 data elements divided by 3 signal elements will be nothing but your R, that is the constant value that we have. This is what we will be representing with respect to your thing. Now, what is this particular bit rate? Bit rate, we have understood that it is change in terms of bits. How many bits that I can transmit in one particular range, depending on the change. Say, for example, 1 is there, next one is 0, next one is 1. So this is nothing but your bit rate. How many bits that you have? 3 bits you have. Signal rate, if you want to calculate, means we call it as baud rate. Bit rate with respect to the data that you are transmitting, number of bits. Whereas baud is nothing but the signal element that you want to have it. Okay, so this is how it will be just represented it. So these two elements, you need to know it. Bit rate, number of bits, based on the bits that you are transmitting, depending on that. Signal rate, how fast the change that you will be having it. The particular signal from highest to lowest or lowest to highest, that particular thing is nothing but your signal rate. So how many horizontal lines that you are having it, depending on the signal rate, you will be just getting it. So that is nothing but your baud rate, we'll call it as. Okay, so a signal is carrying data in which one data element is encoded as one signal element. That is R is equal to 1. Why? Because one data element, one signal element. 1 divided by 1 is always 1. If the bit rate is 100 kbps, that is bit rate has been given, what is the average value of the baud rate if C is anywhere between 0 and 1? First of all, we need to know what is this particular baud rate, how it is represented with respect to your bit rate. So always baud rate, that is represented as S, will be directly proportional to the bit rate, that is N, divided by R. R is nothing but the constant ratio, how many data elements, how many signal elements are used for representing that particular data bit. Understanding it? So that is what it will be just taking care. What is C? C is nothing but your constant value. C always lies anywhere between 0 to 1. Why it lies anywhere between 0 to 1? Because 0 is the one value that you are transmitting, or 1 is the another value that you are transmitting. You can transmit the entire bit, or in between the bits you can transmit it. So depending on that, your C value will always be lying with respect to your 0 to 1. It's a constant one. So we assume that C as an average, if you are just calculating the average from 0 to 1, the average value will be half, that is 0.5. That 0.5 will just keep it with respect to C. N is nothing but number of bits that it can transmit. That is a bit rate. So bit rate is what they have given, 100 kilobits per second. 100 into 10 to the power of 3. 100 into 10 to the power of 3, that is what they have given it. 100 followed by 000, that is what they have given it. Next one is 1 by R. R is always 1 because one data element, one signal element, I'm just transmitting. That is what the encoding that you are doing it. So based on this, you will be having the baud rate or the signal rate as 50 kilobaud. 50 kilobaud for C is 1.5. If C is 0, the entire things becomes 0. No baud rate at all. No change in the area. So everything will be in the constant mode. Whereas if you say the C as 1, that is the maximum maximum limit, then whatever your particular n value is there, if you are transmitting one data element per one signal element, I'm talking about, whatever the value of n is that, the same value of n will be nothing but your baud rate. That means your bit rate and baud rate will be one and the same. That is what they will be saying it with respect to this example. So although the actual bandwidth, the assumption is very simple. Once you say actual bandwidth of a digital signal actual bandwidth is always infinite. But for the effective bandwidth, we'll be considering it as a finite one. Understanding it? So actual bandwidth for a digital signal, anybody, if they ask, it is an infinite one itself. But for our effective utilization of the bandwidth, we consider the bandwidth as a finite. So there will be 0 to, simple example I'll give you. Can you represent infinity anywhere in your particular programming language that you know? Or to the computer, infinity, how will you represent it? No, it is hard for us to represent that infinity symbol, right? Infinite is nothing but we don't know the finite value, where it ends. That is where infinite comes into picture. But here, with respect to your particular system, if you are understanding, so normally, if you, in your analysis of algorithms or your graph theory, you might have considered a particular node from one particular node to another node, one endpoint to another endpoint. If there is no connectivity, then you will be mentioning it as with some other number other than 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 99999 or something like that, right? So that is nothing but finite. So that is nothing but what we are just considering it here with respect to this particular statement. So we will be considering finite bandwidth for our particular better understanding, better performance. But ultimately, if you are considering a digital signal, the bandwidth is infinite. Understanding it? So now, how this particular Nyquist has raised this particular formula, for that, we didn't had any answer for it in our particular previous sessions, but here they have given the answer for it, how they have derived for it. So it is based on your signal rate and the baud rate, bit rate. So based on those two particular things, we are just considering it. So we know that the maximum data rate of a channel with respect to your Nyquist, we have this n max is equal to 2 times of your bandwidth multiplied by logarithmic of L to the base 2. L is nothing but the number of levels of the signal elements that you are having it, right? This was the answer that we had with respect to our particular Nyquist formula. The same formula has been written and written over there. Next thing is, does this agree with the previous formula for n max? Whatever the n max that we have, does it follows the same thing? A signal with L level, any signal with L level, that is, level is nothing but 0. Highest level is maximum with respect to the maximum amplitude, minimum amplitude, that is plus A is maximum, minus A is minimum. Another one amplitude may be having without any particular changes, that is 0 amplitude. So anything can happen, right? So with respect to this, the L represents. So that is what your L is all about. Actually, it can carry how many particular bits that it can transmit? So logarithmic of L to the base 2. That's what we have just understood that. If each level corresponds to a one signal element, each particular level, one signal element, and we assume the average case, that is C lies between 0 to 1. That is, it's a constant 0 to 1, anywhere it can lie. So that's what we have just understood it. With respect to that, C becomes 1 by 2. Then we have n max, that is the maximum bit rate, will be equal to 1 divided by C into bandwidth into R. R is nothing but the number of bits per level that you can transmit. So 2 into B into logarithmic of L to the base 2. So that becomes your maximum bit rate with respect to that. If you have one bit, one signal element that you can transmit for one particular time. Okay, so this is what it will be meaning. Yes, the next one is effect of lack of synchronization. See here, the message that you are sending, you are assuming a particular assumption while transmitting the data. The encoding technique that you are using is one, if you have the bit, then it will be always with respect to the highest amplitude. So we have a particular graph plotted here. One is x-axis will be nothing but your time, and y-axis will be nothing but your amplitude. Amplitude may be measured in terms of voltage. If it measures in terms of voltage means volts, it will be just represented as volts. If I say it, amplitude plus A will be the value that it will start with respect to your 1. With respect to 0, it starts from minus A. 1, once again, it starts from highest. So this is how the data has been transmitted. This is sent data. That is what I am sending it. Next, during the receiver end, at the receiver end, during that particular time period, whatever you are saying it. So just check out in that particular time period how the data has been scrambled. It is having a very small particular time, receiving time or propagation time. So due to the delay, what has happened? The synchronization has been missing. So it is saying that, assuming that 2 ones as the starting end has been sent. Wherever 1 is there, wherever 0 is there, it has been misread with respect to that particular thing. Now, the entire scenario, whatever the data that I'm sending, the data that I'm sending here is 10110001. But the data that has been received and decoded it as 11, because we have assumed that if it is still in the same particular plus V or plus A at that particular peak means, then we will be saying it as 1 bit has been transmitted. So that's why 110111 followed by 0000 followed by 11. So how many bits we have transmitted, how many bits it has been received. So this is decoded. It has been transmitted properly. The transmission medium also transmitted properly. But at the receiver end, due to this particular delay or due to the non-synchronization with respect to your sender part, what it has been assumed is it has changed the entire particular data. It has been decoded as a different one. So it is very important for us, whenever you are sending the data, the sender has to synchronize. First of all, whenever we call to a certain a specific person, we'll always start talking saying hello. Once the hello has been come from the other end also, then we start conversing our particular messages. So we'll not start directly saying that today the class will be there, tomorrow the special class will be there. Today Sudeep sir has told that at 1:15 we have a class, so we need to finish off early this data communication class. No. First of all, you need to greet a particular person. Once the greeting is done, the next thing is, first I need to know whether that particular person is in the receiving mode or not. How to check it? For that, I need to give a separate particular data element, which is irrelevant, which is not considered to be a actual data. So this is how it need to be done. Otherwise, what happens? So it will be considered as a data means, then entire thing will be misread. That means there will be a confusion starting. So this is what it happens. So in a digital, there is a one particular scenario that has been considered. See here, in a digital transmission, the receiver clock is very important. Receiver as well as sender clock should be one and the same. If there is a mismatch, then the entire thing will be gone. Understanding it? Say simple thing. I'll just say I'll be doing a quiz today at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. in the evening. Today evening, 5 p.m. I'll be just saying that yes, the quiz will be starting. You need to join. What about the people who will be joining at 5:05 due to the network delay or something else? They'll be joining. They'll be coming late or something like that will happen. So then, how that particular how they can compete with the others? Because the clock is ticking. So the clock will never wait for, the time will never wait for anybody. So it will be moving on. Yes or no? So these things will need to be considered properly. So that's why once you are sending some particular data, the sender time and receiver time should be synchronized. If you are sitting in India, if you are sending a particular data to somewhere, the person sitting at the America, then you need to synchronize with the time, because the time that you are having in India is different. The time that you are having it with respect to your America is different. So you need to convert. That conversion should happen. Otherwise, there will be a mismatch. You cannot consider anything with respect to that particular topic. So this is what it happens. Okay. So the similar fashion, you have a digital transmission. The receiver clock is 0.1% faster than the sender clock. So 0.1% is faster when compared to your sender clock. Then how many extra bits per second does the receiver receive if the data rate is 1 kbps, 1 kilobits per second? If your data rate is available, then with respect to that, If your particular receiver clock is 0.1% faster, means one extra bit, you'll be just getting it at that particular end. If you are transmitting the data at the speed of 1 Mbps, that is 1 megabits per second, then your particular at the receiver, what you'll be receiving it as 1000 bits extra when compared to your 1 Mbps. So 1 Mbps with respect to that, so somewhere around 10 lakhs of extra or 1000 extra bits per second you'll be receiving at the other end. So this is what it will be happening with respect to 0.1% faster when compared to your sender clock. So if it is one and the same, then actual bits, whatever is there, everything will be received. Otherwise, you'll be receiving extra bits. Extra bits received means the error will happen. How the error will be happening? Because of your decoding part. Your decoding part depends on your timing. So time at that particular time, it should be synchronized properly between the sender and the receiver. So very important. So we have certain line coding techniques. One is called as unipolar, another one is polar, another one is bipolar. Last two, multi-level and multi-transition. So totally 5 different levels are there. In this 5 levels, we are dealing, or we will be just concentrating with only the 3. That is unipolar, polar, and bipolar. So with respect to this, we'll just take this particular thing in the next class. So if you have any doubt till date or till now, you can just ask me the question. I have shared the materials or whatever till now, whatever we have done it, as well as the notes in the Google Drive. So you can just download that particular notes and the PPT, whatever I've just used it for our discussion. The same thing I have just delivered it also. You can just go through it. If you have any doubt, you can ask me anytime. You can ping me or through WhatsApp or a normal message, or else you can call me and you can just clarify your doubts. No problem. Okay. So I'm always there in the group. Fourth section group is there, right? Fourth semester group. In that group, my particular number is there. You can just have your discussion whenever it is necessary. So now I'll just end this particular meeting. So if you have any doubt, I'll just open it for another 30 seconds or 1 minute, because another 1.5 minute is left out, only that much. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll just end the meeting. And tomorrow there will be a special class. Tomorrow there is a holiday on account of your Ambedkar Jayanti, but still, I'm just same time, regular time, whichever the time that you have. Or else we can start early, means we can start early at 10:30. Okay. Hopefully, whatever I have covered today, you have got something from it. So with this note, I'll just close the meeting. Stay home, stay safe. Stay at home, be safe. Okay.